Okay, so Hare Krishna, everybody. Let's begin. Give me some time. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimiram Dhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा हरे हरे. Let's begin with the bhajan. A very meaningful bhajan. So भजहु रे मान श्री नंदन भजहु रे मान श्री नंदन भय चरण अभय चरणारविंद अभय चरणारविंद अभय चरणारविंद दुर्लभ जन भव सिंह रे भजहु रे मातृ नंदन जागी भजहु रे मातृ अभय चरणारविंद अभय चरणारविंद भजहु रे अभय चरणारविंद अभय चरणारविंद अभय चरणारविंद रे अभय चरणारविंद रे श्रवण कीर्तन स्मरण वंदन पाद सेवन दास्यारि पूजन सखी जन आत्मनिवेदन गोविंद दास साभिलाष रे भजहु रे मन श्री नंद नंदन अभय चरण रे अभय चरण रविंद्र रे अभय चरण रविंद्र रे अभय चरण रविंद्र रे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Am I audible now?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. Can you please read the translation, anybody?
Mataji, you have to scroll here.
Yeah. Anybody? You can unmute and read. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, may I read?
Yes, yes. Jai Shri Mataji. Hare
O
Krishna.
mind, just worship the lotus feet of the son of Nanda, which made one fearless, having obtained the rare human the font is little light. If you can just in the rare human birth, cross over this ocean of worldly existence through the association of sanity, saintly persons, both in the day and at night, I remain sleepless, suffering the pains of the heat and cold, the wind and the rain. For a fraction of flickering happiness, I have uselessly served wicked and miserly men. What assurance of real happiness is there in all of one's wealth, youthfulness, sons, and family members? This life is tottering like a drop of water on a lotus petal. Therefore, you should always serve and worship the divine feet of Lotus Hari. It is a desire and great longing of Govinda Dasa to engage himself in the nine processes of bhakti, namely hearing the glories of Lord Hari and chanting those glories, constantly remembering him and offering prayers to him, serving the Lord's lotus feet, serving the Supreme Lord as a servant, worshipping him with flowers and incense, and so forth, serving him in a friend and completely offering the Lord one's very self. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So this bhajan, like I said in the beginning, it's very, very meaningful because it describes the importance of human form of life. Like it is said in the bhajan, Durlabha Manava Janma, right? Durlabha Manava Janma. So what should we do? Durlabha means it's rare, very rare. Okay. So human form of life is very rare because we need to wait for 84 lakh species of lives to get over if you want human form of life. And when we get it, do not waste it, right? So understand the importance of it. This song gives us the importance. Sat Sangha. So when we get human form of life, what are we supposed to do? Associate with devotees, saintly people, right? Only then we can cross the ocean of birth and death. Otherwise, it's impossible. So, it is said, Narottam Das Thakur says in one of his kirtans, he says, if I have not worshipped Radha Krishna, I have knowingly drunk poison, right? Yeah, it says, Radha Krishna na bajiya janiya shunya visha khainu. So if I've not worshipped Radha Krishna all my life, wasting it by associating with miserly people, then I have knowingly drunk poison, it says. I mean, can you imagine, right? So knowingly we drink poison if we do not take to this process of Krishna consciousness, right? Because we are attracted to flickering happiness, right? Uselessly, we waste this life because we are attached to flickering happiness, right? Chapala sukha. Chapala sukha, in Nectar of Devotion, we learn there are two kinds of happiness in this material world. One of it is chapala sukha. Chapala sukha means flickering. So you get happiness now. After some time, that happiness goes away, right? Even when you do the same task again, you'll not get that happiness. So first time when you do, you might get a lot of happiness, but the second time when you do the same thing, you're not getting happiness. That is flickering, right? Chapala sukha. So thinking that to be real happiness, we keep trying out new things. Okay, I'm not getting that happiness, I'll try out something else. So for the same happiness, but that way we are actually wasting our human form of life. Okay, even in Bhaja Govindam, it is said only as long as you are contributing to the family members will take care of you. After that, they will also send you away, right? They will not value you, they'll not respect you, right? So that means what? As long as we have something that people can take benefit, right? Only as long as that is there, people will respect us. After they will we all would have experienced this, right? All of us would have experienced this in some or the other way, I'm sure, right? So the only person who is going to accept us the way we are is Krishna, right? Because he is Bhavagrahi Janardana. He doesn't look at what bhog you are offering or how many kinds of flowers you are offering. He's happy with one drop of water, right? Patram pushpam palam thoyam. He's happy, but all he sees is intention. Are you offering it with love or not, right? So that way, our only shelter, ultimate shelter we have is the Lord, lotus feet of the Lord. But unfortunately, we forget Him and we give importance to everything else. So, on this note, let's begin. Kunti Stuti. So, we stopped at 24 last class. 24th shloka, we will begin from 25. विपदा सन्तुथा शाश्वत तत्र तत्रा जगद्गुरु भवतो दर्शनं यत् स्यात् apunarbhava. So I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we'll no longer see repeated birth and deaths. Can you read the purport? Anybody?
Mataji, may I?
Yeah, please.
Purport by Srila
One moment.
Prabhupada. Jai Sri
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada. Generally, the distressed.
Yes.
Generally, the distressed, the needy. Mataji, it's gone away. It's not showing on my screen properly. Generally, the distressed, the needy.
Mataji, it is moving, Mataji.
I'm not moving. Is it fine now?
No, Mataji, it's gone to 26 and 27.
No. Oh my God. Is it fine now? It's 25 five only right now.
Yeah, now
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
fine, Mataji. Generally,
Yeah.
the distressed, the needy, the intelligent, and the inquisitive who have performed some pious activities, worship or begin to worship the Lord. Others who are thriving on misdeeds only, regardless of status, cannot approach the Supreme due to being misled by the illusory energy. Therefore, for a pious person, if there is some calamity, there is no other alternative than to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Constantly remembering the lotus feet of the Lord means preparing for liberation from birth and death. Therefore, even though there are so-called calamities, they are welcome because they give us an opportunity to remember the Lord, which means liberation. one who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are accepted as the most suitable boat for crossing the ocean of nescience, can achieve liberation as easily as one leaps over the holes made by the hooves of a calf. Such persons are meant to reside in the abode of the Lord, and they have nothing to do with a place where there is danger in every step. This material world is certified by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita as a dangerous place full of calamities. Less intelligent persons prepare plans to adjust to those calamities without knowing that the nature of this place is itself full of calamities. They have no information or trace of calamity. The duty of the sane person, therefore, is to be undisturbed by worldly calamities, which are sure to happen in all circumstances. Suffering all sorts of unavoidable misfortunes, one should make progress in spiritual realization, because that is the mission of human life. The spirit soul is transcendental to all material calamities. Therefore, the so-called calamities are called faults. A man may see a tiger swallowing him in a dream, and he may cry for this calamity. Actually, there's no tiger and there's no suffering. It is simply a case of dreams. In the same way, all calamities of life are said to be dreams. If someone is lucky enough to get in contact with the Lord by devotional service, it is all gain. Contact with the Lord by any one of the 9 devotional services is always a forward step on the path of going back to God. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So, there's a wonderful verse. This is the highlight of the entire Kunti Stuti. So, what does she say here? If calamities can bring you and me near, then why not? She says, right? Keep on giving me calamities. She says. This is a what do you call? This is a characteristic of an elevated devotee, of a pure devotee, right? If difficulties can bring us near, closer to Krishna, then why not, right? So that's why even Prabhupada says the same thing. When he had his pharmaceutical business and everything was going fine, right? He was making a lot of profits and all that. But what happened one fine day? Fire. There was fire, and entire business went into loss, right? And from that very day, he couldn't recover at all the losses. And what happened? Finally, he shut down, right? He shut down his business, and he closed it forever. And then and then you know what he said? He said, this is special mercy of the Lord. He said, this is special mercy of the Lord, right? If anybody else was there in his place, what would we say? Krishna, I did so much for you. I'm doing devotion service. I'm chanting. I'm coming to your temple. I'm doing so much service. What did you do? This is what you do to me, right? If anybody else was in his place, we all start questioning Krishna. But what did he do? He said, whatever Krishna does is right, right? That is the faith he had. And he said, this is a special mercy of Krishna, because Krishna, you know how Krishna blesses his devotees? By taking away all the material comforts they have. This is one of the ways he blesses, because Krishna tests you to the core, to the utter core, right? You need to pass all his tests. And one of the toughest tests is taking away all your material comforts, material gain, material happiness, material opulence, material relationship, everything. Narada Muni, when he came down to this world in his previous janma, when he was born in a son of maid servant, what happened? He lost his mother. He was just 5 years old. 5 years old, and he lost his mother. Why? Because Krishna was like, the only material attachment you have is with your mother, so I will take your mother away. Right? The only material attachment he had was his mother. And when his mother was taken away, his only source of dependence was Krishna. Right? For everything he was praying to Krishna. Right? And that way he became a pure devotee. He got closer and closer and closer to Krishna. Right? I think I've told you before also, when say there are 2 children, and one child is very nice, happy, right? The other child is always crying, always dependent on his mother for everything, right? The other child is independent, doing his job on his own, but the other child is always dependent on his mother, right? For everything, every small thing. So what do you do? What does the mother do at that time? The mother focuses more on the other child who's always dependent, right? The mother will be like, the other child is independent. It's okay, no problem. He will take care of himself. But the other child is always crying, crying, crying. He needs me, right? That's the feeling the mother gets, and all the time the mother's importance, focus, everything goes on the child who is crying all the time. Same way, if you depend on something else, if you have everything else in your life, and you depend when you have some difficulty, you have a lot of other sources to approach. That time Krishna will be like, okay, he's not approaching me anyway, right? But if you behave like the other child who's always crying and dependent on the mother for everything, smallest of the smallest things, then what the mother will do? Complete attention the mother will give to the other child only, right? So Krishna will also treat you the same way. Ye yata mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham, right? That's what Krishna says. How you establish your relationship with me, how you behave with me, I reciprocate the same way, Krishna says. No more, no less. Right? So that's why Kunti Devi says, if difficulties can bring me close to you, keep on giving me difficulties. This, who wants difficulties? Nobody wants, right? We all go to the temple and pray, give me that, give me this, give me that comfort, this comfort, right? Everybody says, do not give me difficulties. But Kunti Devi is saying, give me difficulties if that's what keeps me close to you, right? So we need to understand one thing. For devotees, it's nothing is difficult, right? For devotees, nothing is difficult. Pandavas faced so many problems. Through all the each and every problem they faced, they were smiling. Why? Because they were always remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, right? They always had Krishna in their mind, no matter what, right? No matter what, they always had Krishna in mind. Where there is Krishna, there cannot be any sadness, right? Anandamaya abhyasat. Krishna means happiness. Krishna means happiness, right? Rama, what is the meaning of the word Rama? Pleasure, right? He is the giver of all pleasure in the world. And when Krishna can give you pleasure, and when you remember Krishna, how can you get difficulty in your life, right? So material level, to all our material eyes, it looks like difficulty, but it is not difficulty at all, right? So it says, therefore, for a pious man, there is some calamity. If there is some calamity, there is no other alternative than to take the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. The example that I gave you, the second child that always cries, right? So we all are supposed to be that way, right? This proves in Draupadi's case also, right? She tried in a lot of ways to take care of her, right? To protect herself when she was being insulted, right? Finally, she tried. She looked up to Bhishma Dev, Dronacharya, her five husbands. Five husbands she had. One husband also couldn't save her, right? And then what happened? She depended on her own self and she held on to her sari tightly. Now that also did not work, right? Because Dushasana was stronger. And then what did she do? She left everything and she lifted both the hands high up and she started calling out, right? Govinda, Govinda. Then Krishna blessed her, right? Not until then. So this is the kind of test Krishna gives. We need to be completely dependent on Krishna. He takes away every source of help you have, right? That is the ultimate test that he can, give to his devotees, right? All the material opulence, all the material dependence you have, the relationships that you have. And then if you still say, Krishna, I love you, I want you in life. I don't want anything else. If you still say that, then Krishna will be like, yes, you are my devotee, right? So that is the way Krishna tests his devotees, right? Constantly remembering the lotus feet of the Lord means preparing for liberation from birth and death, right? That's the key takeaway. When you remember the Lord, any difficulty you get, you just have to remember your Lord. Remember the Lord. Then what happens? You're actually preparing yourself for liberation from birth and death. There's no more birth and death, right? Prahlad example, when he was put into difficulties, what happened? Who knows? When Prahlad was put into difficulties, he remembered the Lord, right? He remembered the Lord. But did he pray? Who can tell me? Did he pray? Did he pray to the Lord, please save me from these difficulties? Or he just remembered the Lord? What did he do?
He just
pray to
remembered.
save him.
Sorry?
He just remembered. He was just remembering, but he never said, you save me.
Yes, exactly. Why?
His dependence on the Lord. He knew that if Lord need, if it is a mercy of the Lord, God, if He is willing, He will save him. He has a faith in the
Haribol.
Lord.
Exactly. This is exactly how we are supposed to behave. If you don't even have to ask him, saving his devotees, protecting his devotees is the duty of the Lord, right? By asking him to protect you all the time, you are actually reminding him of his duty. You don't have to do it. So Prahlad says, why should I even ask him for protection? He will protect, right? If he wills, if he wants, if he likes to protect me, he will protect. My duty is to please the Lord. And how to please? By doing devotional service. And he chose the Smaranam method, right? Remembering the Lord, right? He just remembered and offered devotional service by remembering the Lord. So our duty is to please him. That's all. Rest he will take care. If he is pleased, he will give you everything that you want in life. You don't even have to ask him. He is our father. He is our father, right? So father, our father knows what we want and what we do not want, right? So suffering, all sorts of unavoidable misfortunes, one should make progress in spiritual realization, because that is the mission of human life, right? Spiritual realization is the mission of human life. But we just learned that in the bhajan also, that we learned, right? Spiritual realization, and that is the reason we've got this human form of life. But what do? We go and asat sanga tyaga. That's how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu defines a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is not a person who chants, not a person who offers seva, not a person who offers devotion service in the 9 forms and all that. A real Vaishnava is, according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you know how he defines in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says, a real Vaishnava is a person who is sacrificed, who's given up all, material association, asat sanga tyaga, right? You need to be only associated with devotees. Anything else is provocative. It can anytime become obstacle in our spiritual path, and it puts us down. It does put us down. That's why Prabhupada in those days when he went to the West, right? He said devotional service means can be done only in the temple. It cannot be done at home, because not everybody in the family are devotees, right? And not everybody whom you associate with is a devotee, right? Then what is the guarantee that you will continue your devotion service? Right? You might get trapped in the Maya, and you might again go back to your original life, right? You never know, right? So Prabhupada strictly had said devotional service means you have to join the temple, right? No doing devotion service at home. But that's not possible, right, today. So that's why we have these different ways of association: online association, offline association, right? So taking all the positive energy we get from these associations, we need to go home and make our home a temple, convert our family into devotees, so that you, every time you associate with your family member, you can associate actually with a devotee. If you convert your family members into devotees, right? That's why if we have children at home, raise them as devotees. If you have parents at home, keep somehow keep telling them, don't directly go and say you need to come to Krishna consciousness, but somehow give those little bits and bytes, okay, of devotion service. Only then they will also understand, and slowly uh, they will come into devotion service, right? So contact with the Lord by any one of the 9 devotional services is always a forward step on the path of going back home, back to Godhead. And if difficulties make you offer devotion service all the time, why not? Right? There's a proverb actually: only when you have difficulties we look at God. Other times when you are happy, you forget God. Right? So if difficulties actually take you closer to God, why not? Anyway, we all know, right? Here it's said difficulties is just like tiger biting you in the dream, right? When you open your eyes, no bite, no tiger, everything was just a dream. So we all know soul, we are the soul, not the body. The difficulties we are facing is faced by the body, subtle mind, and the gross material body, not the soul, right? So nothing to suffer, nothing to worry about. Next shloka. Janmaishwarya shruta shribhir edamana madhap puman nivarhati abidhatum vai tvama kanchana gocharam. My lord, your lordship can be easily approached but only those who are materially exhausted. Okay, your lordship can be easily approached, but only those who are materially exhausted. One who is on the path of material progress, one who to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty cannot approach you with sincere feeling. Right? Can anybody read the purport?
Mataji, Hare Krishna. Can I, Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Being materially advanced means taking birth in an aristocratic family and possessing great wealth. And education with attractive personal beauty. All materialistic men are mad after possessing all these material opulences, and this is known as the advancement of material civilization. But the result is that by possessing all these material assets, one becomes artificially puffed up, intoxicated by such temporary possession. Consequently, such materially puffed up persons are incapable of uttering the holy name of the Lord by addressing him feelingly, O Govinda, O Krishna. It is said in the Shastras that by once uttering the holy name of the Lord, the sinner gets rid of a quantity of sins that he is unable to commit. Such is the power of uttering the holy name of the Lord. There is not the least exaggeration in this statement. Actually, the Lord's holy name has the powerful potency, but there is a quality to such utterances also. It depends on the quality of the feeling. A helpless man can feelingly utter the holy name of the Lord, whereas a man who utters the same holy name in the great material satisfaction cannot be so sincere. A materially puffed up person may utter the holy name of the Lord occasionally, but he is incapable of uttering the name in quality. Therefore, the four principles of material advancement, namely high parentage, good wealth, high education, and attractive beauty, are, so to speak, disqualifications for progress on the path of the spiritual advancement. The material covering of the pure spirit soul is an external feature as much as fever is an external feature of an unhealthy body. The general process is to decrease the degree of the fever and not to aggravate it by maltreatment. Sometimes it is seen that spiritually advanced persons become materially impoverished. This is no discouragement. On the other hand, such impoverishment is a good sign as much as the falling of the temperature is a good sign. The principle of life should be to decrease the degree of material intoxication, which leads one to be more and more illusioned about the aim of life. Grossly illusioned persons are quite unfit for entrance into the kingdom of God. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. So, again, coming back to the same thing, Akinchana Gochara. So, Krishna's name, one of the names of Krishna is Swam Akinchana Gocharam. Akinchana means people who've lost all their material opulence, okay, materially exhausted. And Krishna is the Lord of materially exhausted people, right? Dina Bandhu, we say, right? Dina Bandhu Jagatpate. So, from here we understand that one who is on the path of material progress cannot approach the Lord with sincere feeling. Like, for example, say if you have fever or something, or some pain, some body pain you have, okay, when you have lot of body pain, what do? You keep praying, right? You pray with full sincerity and love for Krishna and everything, right? Krishna, please help me, please help me. Once the pain is gone, is the same feeling on? No, right? We all have experienced this, right? We all have experienced this, right? When we want something, when we are in utter difficulty, what do? We literally cry in front of Krishna and beg him. Do we do the same thing once once what we want we get, once our wish is fulfilled? Do we do the same thing? No, right? So that's why Kunti Devi says, give me more difficulties. If I can more loudly cry out and offer prayers to you just because I have a difficulty, then give me more difficulty so that I can more get attached to you more and more, right? Makes sense, right? Makes complete sense. So that's why today we can see, right, a lot of people who are born in aristocratic family, hardly they are into Krishna consciousness. Mostly, at least this generation, youth or children, we see some in some houses, parents do not even teach them about God. They do not even teach them about God, right? So this means that the aristocracy, good parentage and all that Prabhupada has said, good parentage, good wealth, education, attractive beauty, all this um, are useless if these are not used to serve the Lord, right? All these become useless if these are not used to serve the Lord. If you're using these to serve the Lord, then these are boon. It's a boon. Otherwise, it's a sin. It's a curse. It's a curse for the human society. If you've got good health, a good wealth, high education, nice outlook, and high parentage, and if you're not using it to serve the Lord, then it's a curse for you. It's not. But through material sense, we say, oh yeah, that person is so lucky. He's got everything in life. But what is the point? What is the point? He doesn't even know his duty, right? His duty is to please the Lord. Using whatever we have, we need to please the Lord. But we are not doing that, right? So that means they all become cursed. There's no point having them, right? So what happened? Ravana kidnapped Sita Mata, right? But what did he get ultimately? Did he get Sita? Did he get Sita? He kidnapped, right? He kidnapped Sita. And whom did he take along with him? Yes, Ramya Mataji is saying no. Yes, he did not get Sita. Whom did he take along with him then? Thinking it's Sita.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Mataji,
Krishna.
Chaya Sita.
Yeah, what's her name? Chaya Sita. No one knows. Vedavati. That's her name, right? So Ravana thought he took So why did this happen? Why did he not get Sita, the real Sita? Why did he get duplicate Sita? Who knows? Why? No one knows? Yeah, I got an answer in the chat. Haribol, yes. Because, very nice, because he wanted Sita without Ram, right? Like how we all want Lakshmi without Krishna, right? Most of them. We all want money. Nice money, we want nice money, jewelry, nice house and all that. Cars and all we want, right? Opulence, material opulence without the Lord, right? We want Lakshmi without Krishna. That is what is happening in our lives as well. So what happens? So Ravana had same situation, right? Ravana wanted Sita without Ram. He did not want Ram. He wanted only Sita, right? So what happened to Ravana? Sita became the very Sita that he kidnapped, right? Became the cause of his death. Cause of his death, right? So same way, if you want Lakshmi, all the material opulence in the world, without Krishna, without serving Krishna, then what will happen to the Lakshmi that you have? She will become the cause of your own death. As in, she will become the cause of the bondage. She will make you get entangled more and more and more in this material world. Okay. So this is why we need to understand that we need to use Lakshmi in service of Krishna. Otherwise, the Lakshmi that we have makes no sense, right? She is going to become the cause of our own destruction. We need to understand that. So we will also get duplicate Lakshmi. When you get Lakshmi and keep her at home, she is not going to stay. She is going to make you get entangled in karma more and more, more and more. And then one day you will go to the deepest, darkest regions of ignorance, right? We will get human form of, animal form of life. Sometimes we will not even have a place in on Earth. We will be pushed to lower planetary systems also, right? Patala, hellish planets. So what are we gaining from it? Right? Lakshmi belongs to Krishna. Lakshmi is a devotee of Krishna. Material opulence, Durga Mata, she is also a devotee of Krishna. Right? So when they are all devotees of Krishna, we cannot lord over them. We need to use them to serve Krishna only. Only then they will be happy. Right? Only then even these demigods will be happy. So that we need to understand. Otherwise, we will also get duplicate Lakshmi, duplicate the opulence in our life. And that's called Maya, right? Illusion. So we will not even know it's duplicate. So we will think, okay, we have nice material opulence, but where are we going? We're taking all that opulence. We're actually going down and down and down without even realizing, without even our knowledge, right? And that's why it is said, only when you have difficulty, you can utter the name of the Lord with full feeling, right? So there are different kinds of prayers. Okay, one of the prayer is offering prayers with feeling, utter feeling, right? When you say Krishna, when you say Rama, you feel. Okay, you feelingly utter the holy name of the Lord, which is absent if the difficulty goes away. Right? This feeling will not come if you're materially satisfied. That is why Krishna gives you difficulties sometimes, right? Very often he gives you difficulties to remind you, you don't belong here. Do not make permanent plans, right? So that clever people, intelligent people understand this, go back to the Lord, right? Always keep going back to the Lord whenever they get difficulty. But unintelligent people who are materially attached, they get puffed up. And they get puffed up, right? And Krishna does not like pride in his devotees. Never. So Krishna himself comes and teaches us a lesson, right? Like Indra. Indra, right? Yeah, the Govardhan Leela that happened. We all know what happened in Govardhan Leela, right? So this way, what happens? Always remember, same thing happened with Nalakuvara, Manigriva Nalakuvara. Who knows the pastime? Damodar Leela? Anybody? Manigriva Nalakuvara. What happened to them? What was their situation? In short? Yes, Deepti Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Nal Kubera was the sons of Indra, and they are so puffed up with richness or wealth, and they are drinking that somrasa, or they are so addicted, and even they are they are playing with the women's in pond naked, even or their intelligence is so lost in that addiction that the Narad Muni come, then also they haven't covered themselves. So Narad Muni gave him that, you go in lower species, and then Vishnu Avtara will help you
Yeah,
to
he
get
says Krishna will come and deliver you, right? Come out. Yeah. Deepti Mataji, are you a student by any chance?
Yes, Mataji.
What do you study?
Mataji, I'm preparing for entrance exam, NEET exam.
Hari Bol. See, you're such an inspiration. You have NEET. You're a student. This generation, hardly people believe in God, and you're such an inspiration, Mataji. Very nice. Hari Bol. Yeah, very well said, very well explained. So Nalakuvara and Manigriva were also puffed up. They were very rich, right? Kubera's son. Kubera is a treasurer. So definitely he's very rich, and so what happened? So the aristocratic family, if you're born in aristocratic family, and if you're not given proper culture, okay, culture education or value education, what happens? A lot of people, they get into intoxication. All this, right? Every day it's happening. They get into intoxication and everything else. And what happens? Finally, they lose all the values in life. And the same thing happened to Nalakuvara and Manigriva. They go to a pond and they drink, and they are enjoying with women over there. They don't even know what is happening. They are so drunk, right? And Narada Muni comes and curses them, right? Curses them, saying, "You're not even dressed. You're naked, right? And so why do you want human form of life if you want to be naked? That too, they are demigods, not even normal humans, right? So Narada Muni says you can become trees, right? Trees do not even have to wear dress, right? If you don't want to dress up properly, being a human being, do not be a human being, right? You will be given a body, a more conducive body where you don't even have to dress up like a tree, right? Trees are also living beings, but they don't have to dress up, right? So that's why Narada Muni says, okay, don't have to dress up, you become a tree, right? So that's why they became trees and they started waiting. They waited for Krishna to come and deliver them. Finally, Krishna went in Damodar form. He went and delivered the trees. Manigriva and Nalakuvara, who were in the form of trees, right? So this is a lesson we need to learn. This is practically impossible, right? When we have a lot of money and all that we need materially to live in this world, when we need everything that we have, we hardly think about Krishna. We hardly think about advancing in our spiritual life. It's in the mode of goodness, right? We all learned this in Bhagavad Gita. Mode of goodness makes us lazy, makes us get attached to this world, material world, because we are doing our work, right? We are doing our work, we are getting nice salary, we are out of that salary we are getting all the comforts that we need. Then why do we have to think about going out of this world? We tend to make plans to stay here permanently, right? So which is wrong. So that's why Kunti Devi refers to Krishna as Akinchana Gochara, Tvam Akinchana Gochara. Namo Akinchana Vittaya Nivritta Gunavrittaye Atmaramaya Shantaya Kaivalyapataye Namaha. My obeisances are unto you who are the property of materially impoverished. You have nothing to do with the actions and reactions of material modes of nature. You are self-satisfied and therefore you are the most gentle and are most of master of the monas. Yeah, can anybody read the translation? Hare Krishna.
I'll read, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
A living being is finished as soon as there is nothing to possess. Therefore, a living being cannot be the real sense of the term a renouncer. A living being renounces something for gaining something more valuable. A student sacrifices his childish proclivities to gain better education. A servant gives up job for a better job. Similarly, a devotee renounces the material world not for nothing, but for something tangible in spiritual value. Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and Srila Raghunatha Dasa Goswami and others gave up their worldly pomp and prosperity for the sake of the service of the Lord. They were big men in the worldly senses. The Goswamis were ministers in the government service of Bengal, and Srila Raghunatha Dasa Goswami was the son of a big zamindar of his time. But they left everything to gain something superior to what they previously possessed. The devotees are generally without material prosperity, but they have a very secret treasure house in the lotus feet of the Lord. There's a nice story. Sorry, I lost it. Okay, there's a nice story about Srila Sanatana Goswami. He had a touchstone, and this stone was left in a pile of refuse. A needy man took it, but later on wondered why the valuable stone was kept in such a neglected place. He therefore asked Sanatana for the most valuable thing, and then he was given the holy name of the Lord. Akinchana means one who has nothing to give materially. A factual devotee or Mahatma does not give anything material to anyone because he has already left all material assets. He can, however, deliver the supreme asset, namely the personality of Godhead, because he is the only property of a factual devotee. The touchstones of Sanatana Goswami, which was thrown in the rubbish, was not the property of the Goswami. Otherwise, it would not have been kept in such a place. The specific example is given for the neo-type devotees just to convince them that material hankerings and spiritual advancements go ill together. Unless one is able to see everything as spiritual in relation with the Supreme Lord, one must always distinguish between spirit and matter. A spiritual master like Srila Sanatana Goswami, although personally able to see everything as spiritual, set this example for us only because we have no spiritual vision. Advancement of material vision or material cultivation is a great stumbling block for spiritual advancement. Such material advancements entangles the living being in the bondage of material body, followed by all sorts of material miseries. Such material advancement is called anartha, or things not wanted. Actually, this is so. In the present context of material advancement, one uses lipstick at a cost of 50 cents, and there are so many unwanted things which are all products of the material conception of life. By diverting attention to so many unwanted things, human energy is spoiled without achievement of spiritual realization, the prime necessity of human life. The attempt to reach the moon is another example of spoiling energy, because even if the moon is reached, the problems of life will not be solved. The devotees of the Lord are called akinchanas because they have practically no material asset. Such material assets are all products of the three modes of material nature. They foil spiritual energy, and thus, the less we possess such product of material nature, the more we have good chance for spiritual progress. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no direct connection with material activities. All its acts and deeds which are exhibited in this material world are spiritual and without affection for the modes of material nature. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that all his acts, even his appearance and disappearance in and out of the material world, are transcendental, and one who knows this perfectly shall not take his birth again in this material world, but will go back to the Godhead. The material disease is due to gone up too much. Okay. Thing is gonna okay. The material disease is due to hankering after and lording it over material nature. The hankering is due to an interaction of three modes of nature, and neither the Lord nor the devotees have attachment for such false enjoyment. Therefore, the Lord and the devotees are called Nirvrita Guna Vritti. The perfect Nirvrita Guna Vritti is the Supreme Lord, because he never becomes attracted by the modes of material nature, whereas the living beings have such a tendency. Some of them are entrapped by the illusory attraction of material nature. Because the Lord is the property of the devotees, and the devotees are the property of the Lord reciprocally, the devotees are certainly transcendental to the modes of material nature. That is the natural conclusion. Such unalloyed devotees are distinct from the mixed devotees who approach the Lord for mitigation of miseries and poverty, or because of inquisitiveness and speculation. The unalloyed devotees and the Lord transcendentally attached to one another. For others, the Lord has nothing to reciprocate, and therefore is called Atma Rama, self-satisfied. Self-satisfied as he is the master of all monists who seek to merge into the existence of the Lord. Such monists merge with the personal effulgence of the Lord called Brahmajyoti, or the devotees enter into a transcendental pastime of the Lord, which are never to be misunderstood as material. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Very nice. Prabhuji has been associated with Sadachar class right from the first module. And whenever he misses class, he immediately pings me and says, Mataji, I'm traveling. I'll be missing this class. Very nice. That is called sincerity, right? So, so here, this is a very nice purport, very, very beautiful purport, although it is long. So it clearly says over here, right? Akinchana Vittaya. That means he is the property of impoverished, right? He belongs materially impoverished people. Why? Because we already discussed such are not to depend on. Such people are not proud of anything. They don't have anything to be proud of. Rightlessness is one of the qualities of a Vaishnava, right? And Krishna also encouraged that. And also you're always dependent on God. That way, Rakshishyati iti Vishwaso, you are dependent on the Lord, right? And Krishna becomes your sole maintainer, Goptrutva Varanam Tata, right? Krishna becomes your only maintainer because you don't have anything else to depend on. You don't even, some people, some devotees, they don't even have a job. Okay, but they always serve the Lord in every way possible, even including sponsoring, right? Small things that they can, whatever is possible without even having proper source of income. Why? That is the faith they have. When I give something to Krishna, Krishna will be happy. So their intention is to please the Lord. When they please the Lord, then there's nothing else left for them to achieve in this world, right? Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. He belongs to the impoverished. The property of the impoverished is called Akinchana Gochara, Akinchana Vittaya, Akinchana Gochara. Means, and also devotees are always materially impoverished. Even if they have lot of money, even if they are like CEO of a company, even if they own a lot of properties and businesses, etc., etc., they are still materially impoverished. Why? Because nothing, not even a penny of what they have, no, in their nothing that they possess, no, even a penny of what all they possess, they say nothing belongs to me, everything belongs to Krishna. If nothing is belong to us, then how are we materially rich? We are not materially rich, right? So these are the two ways of understanding this. One is you are impoverished. You don't even have a job to live. Okay, that is one side. The other side is even if you have everything, you sacrifice everything to serve the Lord. Whatever I have, I'm living in this house, but this house doesn't belong to me. I have a lot of jewelry in my cupboard, but that jewelry doesn't belong to me. Right? It is all given to me by Krishna for some time and to take care. Right? To serve him, to make him happy using all that. And then after some time, he will take it away. Right? When he is giving us something, he has the right to take it away also. Right? We need to understand that when he gives us something, he has the right to take it away also. Why should we get scared? Why should we? What is there to worry about? Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, they are prime minister. One is a prime minister, one is a treasurer, finance minister. Right? Such huge respectable positions. What did they do? They just gave it up. Right? And they become mendicants. They sat under a tree, not even the same tree. Every day, different trees. Right? Because they did not want to get attached to anything, not even to the tree. Right? So they gave it up. So from this we understand and Rupa Goswami's earnings, the amount of gold coins that he had earned was not full of cupboard or full of briefcases or something. They were full of ships. He used to store them in ships, such huge ships, goods ships. So that much of gold coins, that much was his earnings. And what he did with all that, he just gave it away. Right? He divided it 50% to the Vaishnavas and Krishna Seva, and then 25% for his personal emergency, 25% for his family members. Right? He just gave it up. He did not get attached. He did not say, wow, so much of earnings I have, entire life I can sit and live with it. Right? No, it doesn't belong to us. Right? Same thing happened. No, here it says once there was a Brahmana. He goes to a forest and he sits for tapasya. Okay, and he gets a boon. So he was worshipping Lord Shiva, and Shiva comes and says, what do you want? Okay, so this Brahmana says, I want the most valuable thing in this world. The most valuable thing, the most precious thing. Okay, so then Shiva says, okay, you get it. Okay, so that was the boon given to him. And then that Brahmana now goes in search of it. Okay, so somebody says, you go to Sanatan Goswami. Okay, Sanatan Goswami, there is a person, he has the most precious treasure in the world. So Brahmana gets very happy and then he goes, okay. He goes there and Sanatan Goswami will not be there in the cottage, okay. It's a nice cottage sort of a thing under a tree, okay. So he goes there and he says, nobody will be there. So he thinks Sanatan Goswami had actually gone to take bath, okay. So he searches there, is there the most precious thing available? So then he goes, it's not there, okay? He searches, he'll not find. And then he sees in a garbage pile, there is this touchstone. Touchstone means Chintamani, right? Chintamani prakarasad mashu kalpa vruksha. So touchstone means you go touch that stone to any metal, it becomes gold, right? So that is the value of a touchstone. So it's so precious, it's so valuable. So he finds touchstone and he'll be like, wow, finally I found the most valuable thing in the world. And he becomes very happy and he'll be returning. That time Sanatan Goswami comes to the, returns, okay, from his bath. Then he says, Brahmana goes and meets Sanatan Goswami and says, can I take this touchstone? It was there near your garbage pile. Then he says, yeah, take it and go. I don't want it anyway. That's why I've thrown it. Right? And then Brahmana becomes very happy. Wow, finally I got what I want. Then he takes it and he goes, okay? He will be going home, and on the way he will think. He'll be like, if it is so valuable, why did he throw it? Why was it in the garbage pile? That means Sanatan Goswami has something else which is more valuable. I want that. You know, that's why he goes and he says, I want, he returns, okay? He comes and says, Sanatan Goswami, definitely you will have something more valuable. That's why you've thrown it. I want that because that is more valuable than this. Okay. Then Sanatan Goswami is like, seriously, you want it? Then he'll be like, yeah. Then he'll say, okay, you go take this touchstone with you. Go throw it in the Yamuna river. Go take a dip in the river and then come in front of me. I'll give you the most valuable thing. He goes and he throws it. He takes bath and he goes back in front of Sanatan Goswami and then says, now give, I'm ready. Then Sanatan Goswami is like, yeah, now you are ready. You threw that touchstone. No, now you are actually ready. And he gives them Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? He preaches him Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then says, this is the most valuable thing. Then Brahmana is like, what? Mantra? Harinam is most valuable? He doesn't even know the importance, right? And then he takes it and he goes. He'll believe it, okay? He'll be like, wow, I got the most valuable thing finally, and he starts practicing it, and then he will realize how valuable it is, right? So based on this, what we understand is, what did Sanatan Goswami say to that Brahmana? He says, only after you throw the touchstone, you will become eligible to get that most valuable thing in the world, right? So we need, as long as we are clinging on to the material opulence that we have, or material desires that we have, this is not only with respect to money and external opulence. It is also with respect to relationships. It is also with respect to desires that we have, right? So everything, whatever we have, if we are using it for our happiness, when we become very dependent on a particular person in a family, like say mother, father, husband, wife, or some devotee in the temple, everything is called material only. Because if you really want help from some devotee or some person, if you're getting that help from others, why aren't you welcoming it, right? No, some people have this, no, I want help only from this person. I'm very attached to my mother. I'm very attached to my wife. I'm very attached to this particular devotee in the temple. That means that is personal attachment. That is again lust. That's nothing but lust. Okay. So as long as you are clinging on to these personal choices, personal desires, all this comes under material attachments, right? Krishna says you are supposed to get purified more and more, right? The same like the Brahmana. Only after we throw what we like, he loved the touchstone. He still threw it, right? Only after throwing it, he became eligible for Krishna Prem, which is the treasure, right? Which is very, very important, which is the most valuable. So, this is very important. And Prabhupada also says, no, anarthas. Anartha nivritti is where all of us get stuck. All of us get stuck at anartha nivritti stage, right? Faith, Shraddha, Sadhusanga, Bhajana Kriya, all we can clear very easily, right? And then we get stuck at anartha nivritti. And that is where everybody of us, all of us are there in that stage only. Anartha nivritti, getting rid of all the material attachments, anarthas that we have. Anartha means something which is not important. And material attachment is what is not important, right? So we need to get rid of that. So Prabhupada gives an example of lipstick over here, right? A lot of us still spend money on lipstick and makeup and everything else, which is not used in the service to Krishna. This is called anartha, okay? Still clinging on just to make ourselves happy. It's called personal sense satisfaction or sense gratification, which is not allowed. Okay, so on this note, we can end today's class. Any questions? Anybody? Or any inputs you want to add? Giridhar Gopal Prabhuji, you had some announcement. Can you make?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
It's about last week we discussed about that the temple is in the final stage of construction, right, Mataji? So we as a group wish to donate, take some seva, 1 lakh sevas or something of that kind, and then collectively we can donate it to NND Prabhuji. So we can discuss about this, how we can do it and how we can contribute it and so on.
Yeah, so Prabhuji has already dropped a message, a very elaborate message in the group. I would request all of you to read it and come up with your some minute contribution, because like I said, Krishna is doing so much for us, right? What are we going to do in return? And Krishna is very happy if we can give something for the temple construction. Okay, so interiors are supposed to be made, and we are all learning from NND Prabhu. I mean, ISKCON Mangalore, NND Prabhuji's mercy. So he has programmed these courses, and we are sitting and learning from the comfort of our homes, right? So, what are we giving back in return to NND Prabhuji, who's dedicated his life for the temple? This temple has been his life and soul, right? Temple construction. So that temple construction, that temple is coming true. It's becoming a reality. So what are we going to contribute and help such Vaishnavas, right? Vaishnava Seva, right? We discussed in the last class also, Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra, right? Shushusho Shraddhadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. Only when we serve Vaishnavas, pure devotees, like NND Prabhuji and other, such pure devotees who've dedicated their life for Krishna Seva, we become devotees. It's not when we serve Krishna that Krishna gets pleased. When we serve Vaishnavas, Krishna gets pleased, right? So as a team, see, the least Seva that we have is in our class, we are 18 of us, right? So even, so 1,08,000 divided by 18, it's going to be lesser than 10,000 per person, per devotee, right? So come up. If you are willing to contribute, please do contribute, okay? Respond to that message that Prabhuji has shared. You can just respond to Giridhar Gopal Prabhuji personally, okay? So if you're willing to contribute, just get back to him personally, and he will make a list of devotees who want to contribute. And then we can plan up how, and we can, take a one person can inform NND Prabhuji. We can be one person can be the representative and inform NND Prabhuji about it. Okay, so I would request all of you humbly. And I got a question. What is this? Some question I got in the chat. Does material love exist? Right. So material love doesn't exist. There's nothing called love that exists in this world. Please understand that. Atmendriya Tripti Vansha. I mean, it's given in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu defines what is love, what is lust. Okay. Anything that you want to do in the material world to make yourself happy, or to make your family members happy, or to make the society happy, your friends happy, your country happy, or philanthropism, humanitarian activities, to make somebody else happy, okay, yourself or somebody else happy in this world, that is called lust. That is not love. Philanthropy, so many of you can say, right, philanthropism is very nice, you're helping people, humanitarian activities, you're helping people and all that, some people say, but it is still lust, because you are not making Krishna happy. If you're making Krishna happy, then it is love. The same activity, say somebody is hungry, okay, and you give them food, bhoga, you give them food just to make that person happy, that is lust. If you give prasadam, okay, if you offer that same food that you want to give, if you first offer Krishna, make it prasadam, and then if you give to somebody, to a hungry person, that is called love, because you have offered it to Krishna. So Krishna has to be there in the center. Okay, whatever you do, you need to do it for Krishna, to make Krishna happy, not to others. If you're making others happy or yourself happy, it is lust. Okay, caring. Somebody said, yeah, Akash Prabhuji, caring. If you care, again, same thing, no? You care for a person. Say that person doesn't have something, no education. You want to make that person study. Okay, you go take that child and admit that child in a school. Okay, because you are caring. That is lust. Yeah, that is lust. Okay, but if you are making that child admit in a school, so that he will grow up, and then he will become a devotee, he will understand scriptures properly. So that's why I'm making him study. If with that intention, if you make that child study, that is love. Okay, that is the difference. So when you confine your activities to make only that person happy or yourself happy, that is lust. If you bring Krishna in the center, that is love. Like, say clothes, you want to donate clothes to someone. They are wearing torn clothes. Okay, you're donating clothes. You first offer it to Krishna, and then you go donate it. Ask that person to wear with an intention to please Krishna. Then and you say, right, Sarvam Krishna Arpanamastu, Om Tat Sat. All this we do, right? It's given in Jnana Yoga chapters in Bhagavad Gita. Only when you bring Krishna in the middle, it is love. Everything else otherwise is lust. Okay, please understand this. That is the difference between karma and akarma as well. Difficult to practically implement, but this is the and then there's the next class that starts. So Sadachar devotees can leave. The initiation devotees can join. Yo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, thank you all for joining. So we will continue in the next class. Please, Stuti. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, everybody.